Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fearlessly Authentic. I'm your host, Jody Harrison Bauer, and this is the show that educates, empowers, entertains, and inspires you to live your most fearlessly authentic life. I believe it's never too late to embrace who you truly are, break through limitations, and live bold and strong. This show is your place for real conversations about health, fitness, mindset, and the courage it takes to live unapologetically. Each week, we bring you inspiring guests and actionable advice to help you take charge of your life. So let's get on with the show. I am so excited to introduce today's guest, Carmin Black. We met at a retreat in June. You guys have heard me talk about Ariel BVI. It was the Presence Retreat, and it's there that I met Carmin. And as soon as she stood up to introduce herself to all of us, I thought, I have to meet this woman. Carmin has this incredible, vibrant energy that's so alive and contagious. We spent a lot of time together on the island, maybe even talking a bit when we were not supposed to be talking. We were supposed to be in silence. Oops. I just love her spirit and everything she stands for. I couldn't wait to have her on the show today to share her journey and passion with all of you. Carmin Black is a social entrepreneur with a passion for using business as a force for good. As founder and CEO of Carmin Black and her latest venture, DEUX, she has spent over a decade combining fashion with philanthropy, creating globally sold products that give back. Carmin has worked with artisans in Haiti, India, and beyond, and partnered with major retailers like Nordstrom, Target, and Whole Foods to support sustainable employment for vulnerable communities worldwide. Welcome to the show, Carmin.
Jody, thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored. Thank you.
We've been trying to put this together for a while now, and just for everybody to know, Carmin and I met at the island I talk about all the time, which is the Ariel in British Virgin Islands. And I hope you don't mind if I tell this story, Carmin, but the first night we were there, I didn't know anybody except for one girl who was the one who told me to go. And so everybody was new to me. And when Carmin got up and introduced herself, I thought, I need to know this woman. She is fire.
Oh,
She is sassy. She's smart. And I just love what you do. And I found you so just interesting. I wanted to get to know you. And that's why I'm so happy you're here on the show.
thank you so much. That means a lot to me. And I'm going to tell you, I have a cute story about how I met you as well. And I want to share that. But I will say, I really, really appreciate you saying that because one of my greatest fears in life, is not being interesting. Like, seriously, I cannot stand the thought of somebody walking away from me and going, ugh, she's not very interesting. Like that to me, there's nothing worse,
Yeah,
So
you don't have to worry about that.
okay, okay, whew,
You
okay,
and your
good.
mom, like she was there, Carmen was there with her mom. There were three women there with their moms. So I was missing my daughters, but like your mom's a hot shit, you're a hot shit, you're both so creative. So tell us, I love how you've combined your business ventures with philanthropy. So fashion philanthropy, everything that you're doing. Can you explain to everyone listening where that came from, how you got started? Why did you feel that it was so important to give back? And I know giving back is like a hot thing to do right now. Like that's the cool thing to do. It has been for a couple of years now, but I feel like this has been a part of your message for a long, long time. You just didn't jump on this philanthropy train.
No, totally. And it's funny. It's so funny to me when people will say, like, oh, giving back is so cool. Like, giving back is like the hot new thing. Because when I was a little kid and I lived in Waipahu, Hawaii, on the island of Oahu, and Waipahu, which people might hear, oh, Oahu and Hawaii, oh, paradise. Yes, it is for sure. But Waipahu is actually one of the poorest communities in all of the United States. And so we lived there for a number of reasons, but one of which was because my dad was a minister and he had been offered a church to start in that community, which, if we really think about it, like what, I mean, no matter what your belief is, we know what, Christianity, I guess, stands for. And it's like, okay, we're supposed to be serving the least of these, helping the poor, helping the widows, right? Like that's what it's supposed, whether it is that or not, it's supposed to
Right.
be that. And so that was like my childhood, was changing bedpans for the elderly and taking food to our neighbors that I knew and had spent time in their homes and knew their kids. And I mean, my mom and I joke like she was the daughter of a minister and I was the daughter of a minister. And so it's like, we would come home after school and where as other moms are like playing bridge or something, we had inmates in our house.
No way. I did not know this about you.
Yeah, because they had gotten out of prison and had nowhere to go. So who'd they call? They called their pastor. And then my dad's like, yeah, come stay at our house. And I'm like, great, Dad. Like there's a prisoner, next to my bedroom. Nothing happened. So it's good.
God.
It was really what my life was sort of rooted and grounded in. And because was my family, quote unquote, in poverty? Not actually. We never experienced having food stamps or having to rely on the government for assistance, but we felt it was our calling in life to help, to walk alongside people that were experiencing those challenges. And I think when you face this type of thing from a very young age and you learn that we're all more alike than we are different,
Love that.
it just really stays with you. And so like my girlfriends will tell you, we'll be on vacation and I'll see like the homeless lady under the bridge and I start trailing off. I'm hanging out with, these people are, I mean, it's a comfort place for me. It's something that, yeah, it's just kind of always been my calling in life. And so when I got older, and I also really love fashion, like that was always there. My mom was always in fashion, but from an interior design perspective. So it's very interesting. In Hawaii, there's of course, as you could imagine, really great shopping. And so, here we are living in Waipahu in, a very poor neighborhood. And then, after school, if mom picks me up, I'm going and playing on the floor at Gucci because mom is doing the merchandising. And, I tell this story where one time as a kid, I saw this group of Japanese businessmen. This is back in like the early 90s, paying over 100 grand for luggage. And so I was exposed to that as well. And that became very commonplace for me and something that I also became very comfortable with. So when I grew up and I was like, man, I really want to do fashion. But for me, I could never do this without having a philanthropic arm to it. It's like I just merged the two. And for a person like me, it's the most authentic way to sort of, you know, be, I guess. Yeah.
I never knew this about you. I don't think you shared this on the island, but this makes so much sense. And I remember when you got up and spoke and introduced yourself, that I thought what you did was very interesting. And I thought, I wonder what brought her to this point. And I never asked you that. And I'm so
Yeah.
happy that you share that with us because it's part of your being, fashion and giving back.
Totally. Fashion has always been something that, I mean, my mom did not let me leave the house without if a hair was out of place. Like, and I can remember as like a 4 year old, she dressing me in all black head to toe and having like this very stark bang and a very stark like bob cut. And I was like this like little, I looked like, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Incredibles, but the old lady that makes all of their costumes, that was me as a toddler. um,
Oh
and
my, I
so
could
I
totally
know
see that.
you totally see it. Oh my God. And so it was like fashion was always there. And then just like be in my entire life, because we moved away from Hawaii when I was going into second grade. So it's not like I lived there, till high school or something. But where we went, because then we moved to Alaska, then we moved to Raleigh, then Charlotte, then finally here where I live in Wilmington, North Carolina. Everywhere I went, that same outreach, that same way of being followed our family. And it just has always been there for me. So I don't think that I could be happy having a career that doesn't somehow encompass both of those. And Jody, right now, I sit on the board of an urban farm. I'm like in meetings all the time. We're feeding people. We're doing entrepreneurship training in like the low income government housing neighborhoods here in Wilmington. Like I'm very involved. I used to be in Haiti 7 times a year, working with children, I mean,
You're
like,
the only one I know. So I've been to Haiti. Did I ever tell you that?
no, why? Because it's not a very common thing unless someone's like a missionary or something.
No,
But
so they all thought we were missionaries. And, I mean, we're Jewish. We could be missionaries. And, they're not going to say, no, you can't help us. But we went to Labadee.
yeah, Labadee. Yes.
Right. So my daughter was dating a guy whose family was from Connecticut, where we lived. They owned a lot of land in Labadee, like a compound, like guards, dogs, the whole thing. And when you looked out the window, you just saw the beautiful water, and sometimes you could see the cruise ships come in. And they did some business with the cruise ships, but driving in, you had to go all the way up. Oh my goodness. But the people were wonderful. The island is gorgeous. It's a shame that it's a third world country, and I hope they get a lot of help. But what brought you there?
Yeah, no, it's such a shame because the people are so cool. Talk about
They are.
interesting people. My God. Like, you do not meet, I have never met a Haitian person that I'm like, what a dud. Like, such interesting, dynamic, resilient people. Years ago, I had started designing beaded jewelry for my first business. Actually, it's funny. I have some right here, and it looked kind of like this. Like, just like this is like a
Pretty,
coconut bead and then
very pretty.
yeah, mother of pearl.
Let's start with, before we get into why you're in Haiti, did
Yeah.
you have your business already? Did you have Carmin Black, the brand?
So my first company was actually called Half United, and the name was based on this idea that half, and this is true, half the world lives in poverty, half doesn't. But if we
Mm,
unite, we could change that. So it was called Half United, and that's what I did for 15 years before I started Carmin Black, the brand, last year. Yeah,
okay. Okay.
yeah.
So when you went to Haiti, you were there for the jewelry for this Half United.
Yeah, so we had gotten an opportunity actually to partner with Target. And so Target said, "Yeah, we love the idea of you guys making beaded jewelry and doing it in a way that creates gainful employment." And so at the time, I wasn't working in Haiti. And so I had contacted an organization, I think they're called Papillon Enterprises, which means butterfly. And we went to Haiti, started working with the artisans there. They made our products. And it's really weird. It just so happened that our partnership with Papillon didn't exactly pan out. But I was at a trade show and a woman across from me also worked with Papillon Enterprises. And I was like, what are the chances that we
Crazy.
would both? This is really weird. And she's like, yeah, she goes, but I'm going to go back to Haiti and I'm going to start my own like bead workshop. Would you like to go with me? And I was like, of course, this is great. Cause I was really worried we weren't going to be able to do this project. So went back to Haiti with her. Oddly enough, met a group of people that run a leather making facility there. I designed a single leather bag, brought the leather bag back to the States, had designed a small collection later down the road, took them to a trade show. And it's interesting because by this point, I was like 10 years into this business and I was like, man, we're getting good opportunities, but I'm kind of like, I don't know if this is what I want to keep doing. So I had taken these leather bags that I designed and I had prayed and I was like, all right, God, seriously, like, if you want me to keep going in this business, if you want me to keep helping, doing whatever, send me a sign. But I'm not going to lie, this is a tough way to do business. Like, it sounds fabulous and altruistic and all this stuff, but it's really challenging. So I said, send me a sign. Well, these leather bags were so unattractive. They were not good quality. They were not good craftsmanship. They were just little samples that I made. I put them on display and a woman comes up to me. She goes, oh my gosh, I love those leather bags. I said, oh, great. And I was thinking, great, she'll order like 5, like whatever. She was like, I'd like to order 1,000. I was
What?
like, I was like, great. Yeah, she was from like a chain store that if I said the name, we would all know. And so I was like, really? Go left there. And I was like, all right, God, I see what you're doing. I get the hint. Left there, went to another trade show in Las Vegas. 3 weeks later, a different buyer comes up to me and says, oh my God, I love that leather bag. I'm like, oh my God, these leather bags. She goes, I'll take 1,000.
What?
Yes. I said, okay, there's all the sign I needed. We ended up, because of the pace of that order, at one point we were going to have to hire 300 people to get this order accomplished in the time span that these two buyers needed. And I was just like, there's my sign. I asked for a sign. I got a sign. Like, we created so many jobs in Haiti, and it was so awesome and pivotal at one point that when I went there to check on the production, the mayor of the town, this was in Grenguave, the mayor of the town came up to me crying and said, we just can't believe like these jobs are changing our village. People are going to school. People are building houses. Like, we just can't believe it. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm like, if for no other reason but to help these people, I'm good. We've done our jobs. Isn't that a fascinating story?
It's it's a wonderful story. It's beautiful. So you got the sign from God. So I want to talk about this a little bit because going back to the island, we're all very spiritual people, and
Yeah,
we know praying, manifesting, journaling, um, putting it on a vision board, whichever way, praying means a lot of things to a lot of different people. I
right,
think that if you're old school, you might think praying means getting at your bed and praying, putting your hands and praying. But it
right.
doesn't mean that. It could be being taking a walk. I feel like I pray all day. Every time I take a walk with my dog, every time I lay in bed. So if somebody is an entrepreneur and they want their business to get off the ground, or they want to help other people, or they're like you and they want to be able to profit, but also give back because that is possible. And they're looking for a sign. Am I going in the right direction? So many people, you hear so many successful people say, I got a sign. I got this sign. I got this sign. I mean, when I left my husband in August, I got and I don't think I could have gotten this sign if I didn't go to the island.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got the clearest sign, and the sign was my sign. I don't know if I shared this with you yet, but my sign
yeah.
was leave now. And the vision I had was, I think I told you this, Moses parting the Red Sea for me
Mm,
to get in my car and leave.
good.
And then it was, I don't even remember how I drove down here. It was as Jesus took the wheel. It was like somebody came from right
Yeah.
behind me and had their hands on my hands and
Mm.
put them on the wheel and guided us
I
down.
have chills. Yeah, I have chills. Yeah.
But do you think that it takes somebody to be in touch with their spirituality to see the signs?
Okay, so I seriously have chills. And what I love about who we are and the fact that, of course, we would talk this way. And of course, we would talk about this. And of course, I'm open to talking about this, but many people, are not. And I'm very sensitive to that, right? Like, I know that my faith being what it is, I never, ever, ever want to feel like people think, oh God, she's such a Bible beater, or she's so, she's like so imposing or something like that. But I will say, here's my theory personally about what you say. I have this theory because of again, it's from, it stems from my faith, is
Yeah.
that God, okay, how do I say this in words? It's like God is so magnanimous. And from what I feel and know and believe based on, what I've learned my whole life and have studied for my own self, he never changes. He never, 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 never changes. It's that we change and we want him to change. We want him to take this form or that form or this form or be this or be that. But he doesn't. He never changes. He just is what he is. And so, what I think is that anybody, spiritual, non spiritual, religious, non religious, can literally at any moment of any day stop and say, okay. Of course, if you believe in God, you pray to God. God, please help me, give me clarity. Like, please send me a sign. But if not, because you're asking, like, can people that are not religious or spiritual, can they tap into that? Absolutely, because I believe that God is always there, omnipresent, waiting for us to tap in. It's that we don't tap in, but He's
Right.
always there.
Right. And that was that, growing up, I wasn't religious, but I grew up as a conservative Jew, and I'm still consider myself a conservative Jew, but like becoming more spiritual as I've gotten older and sort of allowing myself to surrender at certain times. And I found the first time I really surrendered was on the island, at 63 years old. Yeah,
Wow.
after the 2 days of silence. Yeah, I think that was the very first time that I did that. So yeah, I'm a slow learner, but once I learn, I get moving. I get moving. So I was just curious to hear what your feeling was about that, because I know so many people I know struggle with, well, I don't know if I'm going in the right direction. Should I take my business to Haiti, for example? Like, this seems like a lot of work. And I think what I want our listeners to understand from this show, and more things that you're going to share, is that if you sit back and just be present, you
Mm,
will feel the direction. If you just surrender, which is hard for a lot of people like us who want to be in control of everything, it's very hard to surrender. And most entrepreneurs don't want to surrender. But I'm saying, if you just sit back and you allow yourself to listen and be present, which was the name of our retreat, present,
yeah.
you can hear the words, you can hear the sounds, you can feel the push, right?
I really feel this. And listen, I don't care what you believe. It is
Right.
so easy to drown out that voice, that inner knowing, that God around us. It is so easy. Like, even me as a believer, that, you would think like, oh, I wake up every morning and I'm just like praying at my bedside. No, I'm not. I should, because if I would, I bet my life would be a lot more simple than it is. It's interesting, and I'll share this. I was recently really sick, and I was taking a hot Epsom salt bath to, just sort of like release toxins and whatever, and was just feeling really, really sick. And I was laying in the bathtub, and I had my hands over my eyes because my eyes hurt so bad that I just wanted no light, right? And I wanted nothing. And it's like I felt God speaking to me. I was not praying. I was not laying there praying. What I was doing was being silent and surrendered. And I felt God speak to me. And what I felt like He said was, it's like I have it written down, but it was to the effect of, you know, do you, it was almost like it was out of nowhere. It was like, do you want to bless others? And I was like, I do. I do. And He said to me, as I am laying there, not praying, not doing anything, just hands over eyes, then I am going to make you succeed so that you can bless others. To which I replied, Jody, and now to everyone listening, I said, silently as I'm laying there, because, I've been in a fragile state, closed a business, started a new business. Business is tough, no matter how successful or not. To which I replied, please don't say it if you don't mean it. Like, please don't say you're going to make me succeed to bless others. To which I felt God replied to me, I wouldn't. Like, I wouldn't say that to you. And I just laid there with my hands over my eyes, and I said, okay. To which, Jody, it ended with, I felt like God saying to me, don't forget, your only job is to bless others. And I
Wow.
was like, but
Wow.
and so that's poignant. And I'm like, you can't make this stuff up. That didn't just, I mean, I'm laying there just sick, feeling like
Yeah.
I just want relief. And what I took from that was, oh my God, if we would just stop and slow down and get in a silent place, we don't need to beg and plead and wonder, are you real? Help us, help us. It will come.
And that's what I want everybody listening to take away, is that if you are wherever you are in life, whether it's a business or you're starting a family or you're getting married or you're moving someplace, just try to sit and listen.
Yes.
Just try to sit.
Yes.
And it's, again, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a go-getter, it's not easy, but try to find that time to do that. I had another situation. We could probably go back and forth with all our
Yeah,
situations.
totally,
Want to
totally.
get into your business. When I was looking for a place for the last studio that I opened, I was also seeing a psychic. And I was telling her how I couldn't find the right place. It was either like it was the right size, but it was in a crappy area or this and that, all these things. She looked at me, she goes, Jody, the angels, you know what they're doing up there? They're trying to help you find a place, but you're so busy and then
Jeez.
they can't help you. She's like, will you just sit still? And,
Oh my gosh.
and then I found a
Jeez,
place. So it's
jeez.
just, and this is, I want everybody to understand you. It's an inner knowing, trust your instinct, but also being present with your feelings because sometimes we don't want to be present with ourselves. It's too scary. We don't want to feel our feelings. So we go, well, let me go do this and like create this chaos in our life. And you really need to sit still and listen.
You have to. I have this obsession with Mr. Rogers. Like I'm fully obsessed with this man. Fred Rogers. I just think he was like a living angel. Like I just love this man. I'm like, you can't find fault in Mr. Rogers. He was only here to help and do good. But one of the things that he said, they would say, what are you most worried about for children? And he would say, I'm really worried that children do not have the gift of silence. He goes, I am really worried about that. Yeah. And I know that because he was just such a silent creature. Like the way he moved and spoke was almost like just stillness, and to almost boring in a way. But that's what I think made him so profound is that he didn't care because he was so centered that the man did not
Right,
care what anyone thought of him because he knew exactly who he was. And I think,
right.
oh, this is so good for me to talk out today because I I know that our lives would all improve if we would quiet ourselves. I would dare say pray. Just ask for quiet, think, pray or don't pray like I was doing in the bathtub. I was just laying there. I was not praying. I was
Laying
not
there.
being, but whether you seek, a higher power and you seek guidance or you don't, it will be given to you. If
Mhm.
we would just be still. So this is really good. I needed to hear my own advice. Yeah.
Good. I love that. And your advice is so wonderful for everybody to hear. So
Yeah.
talk about your business. So you had United,
Half United. Yep.
Half United, and then you closed that and you
Yes.
started your own brand, Carmin Black. So tell me how you transitioned from having that brand for 15 years and then starting a new brand.
Yeah, it was like the culmination of many things. In the very end, it was very sad. To be honest, we had gotten in a lawsuit with a manufacturer that sold us defective product. So it's like we sold really high end costume jewelry. So, like, we sold nationwide in Nordstrom for 9 years. We worked with three people. We worked with Simons in Canada. We worked all over the place. And they had sold us jewelry that literally at Nordstrom, that Nordstrom said, hey, something is wrong with this jewelry. We put it on the shelf. We came back the next day and it tarnished. And we're like, what? It has 7 layers of 14 karat gold on top of sterling silver. What are you talking about? And they're like, yeah, no, we need to send this back. We can't sell this. And so approached our manufacturer and I'm like, guys, what's going on? We can't sell this. Well, what they did was they sued us for non-payment. I'm like, I can't pay you for something I can't sell. Like, this is ridiculous. And later we found out that they had outsourced during COVID our production to China and did not because they're in Rhode Island.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and they didn't get permission. And so here we are in this lawsuit having to defend ourselves, even though we did nothing wrong. All we did was place an order for a product that we had previously product tested and given the thumbs up on. And then they went off in a different direction. And so it ended in this messy, he said, she said. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Sorry.
But what I ended up doing was around that time, I had gotten an opportunity to design handbags for Joanna Gaines and for Magnolia. And their team said, hey, we need a lot of different designs. We've got this new monogramming machine. We need handbags specifically that can be put into this machine and be monogrammed for customization. And the order was pretty substantial. And I thought, you know what? I don't think I want to do this crap anymore. I'm in this ridiculous lawsuit that I know for a fact I can hold my head up high. I have done nothing wrong. These jokers are trying to sue us just because they beat us to a lawsuit, which I never would have sued them. We could have
Right.
worked it out. I'm just, who has time for that? And so we liquidated Half United very, very, it was sad. It was sad just because of how it had to happen. And basically started a new company with new products. And these handbags are made in India, which gives jobs to the most fascinating people there. Many of our craftsmen in India work with us at certain times of the year when they're waiting for their crops to grow because they are farmers. And so in between harvest times, they come and make leather handbags. Like, who knew? And so it's been wonderful. But the way my first company that I had started with $200 when I was 24 years old and just grew and grew, the way I had to end it because it's like I was forced to was just really sad. But the new opportunity is great, and working exclusively with Magnolia is fantastic, and all's well that ends well. Yeah.
So tell us about what's going on now. So is it just handbags? Oh, I love your coffee cup.
Oh my God, this is my great grandma's.
That is beautiful.
Yeah,
Everybody,
yeah,
if you're
it
not
is.
watching on YouTube, it's floral and it looks really old. It's so
Yeah,
pretty. And
yeah,
it
yeah,
almost
yeah.
looks like a branch, right?
I know, isn't that something? So
It's
this
beautiful.
certain type of china that was very popular in the Southeast,
Oh,
like in the early 1900s. And this is like a very, like, you can go to antique stores in the South and you'll always see this, I
I want
guess,
one.
motif or design or whatever. But yeah, yeah. So
Want one. Okay, so the handbags with Magnolia, what else are you creating? Because I know when we were on the island, you also had jewelry. So what is the brand Carmin Black? Are you working just with India right now? So explain to all of us what your brand is all about.
okay, so Carmin Black, the brand, is a line of handbags, basically that create gainful employment for men and women in India. We, use beautiful Italian leathers, and they're just really high quality, very, very simple designs, but just really beautiful leather handbags that we make abroad. They're right now exclusively sold at Magnolia. So I don't even sell them on carminblack.com. Like, if you go to carminblack.com, you want to purchase, you'll be redirected to Magnolia. I
Wow.
think, and a big part of that is because when I closed Half United and jumped right into Carmin Black, the brand, because the Magnolia deal came like simultaneously from closing one brand to opening the other. I think I was just a little shell shocked. I was excited. It was a wonderful opportunity. It was really exciting, but I think I was a little shell shocked from the closing of Half United, the way it closed.
Sure.
And I thought, you know what? I don't want to carry inventory. I don't want to have sales reps again. I don't want to have showrooms. I just don't want it right now. I'm just now a year and a half later getting to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm ready to carry inventory and like it's time to properly grow this business. But I think pausing for a while was really smart, and just taking time to kind of like heal and grow a
Right.
new brand name. I've also, it's funny because Half United sold this hairband that we had tested in Whole Foods stores in the Southeast. We had tested it at all 100 Wegmans stores and then in about 300 retail stores. And when I closed Half United, people kept saying, "Oh, you closed Half United, but do you have those hairbands?" I'm like,
I,
these
right,
guys,
exactly. Right.
golly. And so this kept happening to the point where I was like, you know what? I think there's something to these hairbands. Let me rebrand those and relaunch them on their own platform. And so, funny enough, those are actually launching tomorrow nationwide.
Yay.
Nationwide in CVS stores. And then, like, it's wild. Friday morning, I have a call with the licensing team from New Balance about possibly working. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it's like,
Carmen. Wow.
So one door closes, another one opens. We can't predict this stuff in life, you know.
No, we just have to be open to it.
We do. We totally do. Yeah.
Can you show everybody what the hairbands look like?
I can, but let me just say it's really funny. So I got the awesome opportunity last week to pitch this product to Jesse Itzler. And if you don't know who he is, yeah, he's Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx, her husband. They're both incredible entrepreneurs in their own right. But he said, "Oh my God, Carmen, I love this product.
Wait,
Premier."
how the heck how did you get in front of Jesse Itzler?
I know, isn't that cool? Well, okay, so when I first closed Half United, he had announced that he was doing like this entrepreneurial boot camp thing. And I had signed up for it and interviewed for it. But when it came down to it, anyways, long story short, I was having surgery and I was like, guys, I can't do it. Okay, and this is wild. So turned down the opportunity to be in this group last year. And I was like, man, that stinks. That opportunity may never come back around. It's very
Right.
interesting because I am not a vision boarder. Like I want to be, but I'm just not.
Mhm.
Well, apparently in about April of this year, I had done a written vision board. So no pictures, just this is my list of 20 things that if I end this year and I say, I did this, it would be a great year. Number 4 was I pitched to Jesse Itzler and we do something great together. And that's what I wrote. In August, I get a call from his team saying, hey, we were thinking about you. We have one spot open. If you want to join, Entrepreneurial Boot Camp starts tomorrow. And I was like, okay, I'll join. Joined the program. It was like 6 weeks long. And then it turns out they were like, oh, we're going to do a pitch competition where you can, where you can, where you can pitch.
Wow, Carmen.
Like, whoa, that's weird. I had said I want to pitch to Jesse Itzler. So literally, like 5 days ago, that that manifestation or whatever, that prayer, whatever we call it, came to be, and I got to pitch in front of him. I tell you this because one of the things he said was, he's like, yeah, that packaging has to change. He's like, I thought, he goes, I thought you were selling chocolate bars. He goes, but
Oh.
so this is the wild packaging. It's called a hairdo. And people are like, why do? I'm like, well, do means two. And these
Got it.
bands each can last up to 2 years. So it's like a
The,
play on do and
the
then
the hair bands are incredible and you can't see them. And I have a lot of hair and it doesn't rip your hair out when you're pulling them out. I love them. I tried it on the island, then you send me a bunch more, and my daughter stole them from me.
remarkable. Like, look at this. You cannot break them. Like they can't be
No,
broken. And when you put them on your wrist, so like that, stretching them, it stretches just a little bit, but like give it like
right.
15 minutes, they retract. And so you can use them over and over again. And it's a wild story. It's like I found this material at a plumbing parts store in the Midwest, had ordered these plumbing parts and I was like, whoa, I could try. And it wasn't shaped or, it didn't look like a hairband, but I was like, I wonder if this material could be used as a hairband. And I used it and I'm like, whoa, this is something. And then we made it at Half United. We tested it. It did great, but then we closed the business. And so now I've rebranded it. It's interesting because today on Instagram, I posted this picture of our packaging on the shelf in CVS. And
Mm-hmm.
look at how
Oh,
right. Like this is why I designed it that way because it just stands out.
it
You
looks
know,
great. What
yeah,
is Jesse Itzler? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
come on, Jesse, get on board. I know.
Come
Come
on,
on, dude.
Jesse. So
I know.
everybody can find hairdo in CVS tomorrow, all across the nation.
So it'll be in 34 states. So not all 50 states, but yeah, I mean, a lot of us can find them in our local CVS stores. Yeah. It'll
So
be
can
in
I
like,
find it in Florida? Will it be in Florida?
yes, yes. In a lot, I'll
Yeah.
have to tell you where, but in a lot
Okay.
of cities in Florida. Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
So
Congratulations.
thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited. Yeah. It's
So,
crazy to be doing 2 brands at one time. I'll tell you that, but it's very exciting. Yeah.
so Carmin Black is the handbags, and then hairdo is your other brand under the Carmin Black brand, right?
Correct. And I think
Okay.
what I'll do, I was going to make this so funky, so wild, so outlandish, so different. I think now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it where after this packaging run has sold through, I probably am going to change the packaging, make it a little bit more adult. This, I think, served the purpose to, if you're walking through CVS stores, and you look and go, what is that? That's what I wanted, right? That's why I
Mhm.
designed this to look like, what the heck is that? I think what I'll do next is I'm going to elevate it a little bit and make it where both brands can sort of simultaneously help each other and talk about one another in a way that's not confusing. Yeah.
I love that you have never given up, even when you felt like you wanted to give up, that you have stayed true to what is important to you, being fearlessly authentic, saying that this might scare me. I'm scared right now, but I'm going to bounce back from that. I'm going to be me because you're fun, you're smart. You're a great businesswoman and people are highly attracted to you because of your energy and what you know and how you get everybody excited. And it's just great to be around you. And I see why you're such a leader.
Oh my God, I appreciate that. I think it takes one to know one for sure. Like you're the same way. You're so dynamic. And the funny story I was going to tell about meeting you was Kelly, our mutual friend, had said to
Hmm.
me, yeah, so Jody, is like super fit and she's a bodybuilder and she's just like this powerhouse of a woman. And I remember walking down the sidewalk coming to like where we all were having dinner the first night that I met you. And there's a small sea of women. There's a bunch of us there. And I look over and I was like, there she is. I know exactly who Jody is.
No.
You looked great. I mean, all of the things that she said about you were absolutely spot on. And so I went up to you and was like, hey, are you Jody? And you said, yes, I am. I said, you would be. Of course you're Jody. Because she was like, she's so fabulous. She's so fit. She's so beautiful. So those nice things that you say to me, listen, I just echo
Mhm.
them right back to you. And I appreciate that more than you know. Because I think one of the things about being fearlessly authentic, at least for me, is admitting, I wish I always had this like rock star confidence at all times. And I hope to God I emit that. But the truth is, we don't always have that. We second guess
Mhm.
ourselves. We question ourselves. We think, God, I'm so dorky or I'm so this or so whatever we think of ourselves, which may be true at times. But I think that's what it takes to be fearlessly authentic is to just like really own all the good and the bad feelings that we have about ourselves, but still see all of that as this beautiful mix of making us really the great people that we are, right?
Well, I didn't even have to ask you what it meant to be fearlessly authentic because you answered the question. So that was
Yeah.
beautiful. No, that was beautiful. And you are. I remember again, I know it's like we have like this love affair. I remember when I met you again, and just we chatted the entire time we were there, even some parts where we were supposed to be silent.
Silent,
Um,
exactly.
yeah, it was really hard to be silent for 2 days, but we got through it. And just you were always so positive. And I remember, all went through some heartfelt things and some emotional things. And when I remember seeing you crying and struggling, but then seeing the good in everything. And I think that's a gift, Carmen. I really do, because I don't think a lot of people think that way and see the good. And so I really encourage everybody listening today to just take a little bit away, take away a little bit of Carmen's vibe and her seeing things through a half of full glass, not half empty, but half full glass. And I think that helps a lot when we own our own business and we're trying to change something in our life and not see the negativity, but see the positivity and know that, as we talked about, there's a higher power guiding us if we only surrender.
It's so true. And I'll say, Jody, I really, really, really live and believe that every single thing we go through is happening for us, not to us. I really believe that. And man, have I been through some crap like in my life, business, family, like we have been through it, and
Mm-hmm.
everyone has. Everyone has
Yeah.
their own their own burdens that they've had to bear. But I'm like, it's funny because somebody said to me, they said, man, when you were pitching, this is so interesting. They came up to me, they said, it was so interesting when Jesse was telling you, Carmen, I don't really like this packaging. This needs to change. That needs to change. They said you stood up there and you went, okay, awesome. I really appreciate that feedback and I value that. They go, we have seen other people pitch to him. And when he has done that to them, they break down crying and they are just like, they just can't believe their, business idol has, just, I don't know, said something contradictory to what they, had hoped he would say. And I said, it's so interesting. I think I've been through so much in my life that I have like a strong shield now. And that's the least of what someone could do or say to me. My God.
You're like, thank you. Thank you for suggesting that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I was. And I really felt that way. I wasn't even like, being sarcastic or whatever. I really was like, awesome. You know what? I see what you see. I actually agree with you. But it's like after the person called that out in me, I thought, oh my God, it's because all of those trials all throughout my life have strengthened me to the point where I can handle this now. And I'm like, that's so cool. It happens for us, not to us. So let the good and the bad happen because it's just making you really strong.
Beautiful final words. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
How can everyone reach you? How can they find out about your bags, your hairdos, everything? Well, you can go to CVS, but do you have a website?
We do. So carminblack.com is, that brand's website. And then Hairdo by CB is our other website. And on Instagram, you can follow Carmin Black, the brand, or Hairdo by CB. Yeah. DEUX.
Okay.
Hairdo.
DEUX. Thank you so much, Carmen, for being on Fearlessly Authentic. I really appreciate it. I love you. I miss you.
Thank you for having me. This has been such a joy. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. And for everyone listening, thank you so much for joining us today. And until next week, go live your most fearlessly authentic week. Bye-bye, everyone.